Please. On a long enough timeline,
what's going on?
Rate for everyone drops to 0.
Would you rather be dead? You'd rather die here? No. What did you want to be, Raymond K. Hessel? The question, Raymond, was what did you want to be?
Oh, yeah.
Answer, Raymond. Jesus.
When I say that when the music starts, they wait too. That's what I think. I didn't know that. Yeah. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Current Affairs, brought to you by Bentley Blue Duck. I'm acting like I just met you. We are live. What's up, Dre?
What's up,
How you doing, man?
I'm glad you let me hear.
Yeah. Join us. This is Current Affairs, brought to you by Bentley Blue Duck, Think Free Revolution, Fitness McGee, Lamp Post Publishing, and shout out to the conversation. Shout out to Mud and Oil who sent me this Joey Always Mad Son mug. Yeah. Shout out to our sponsors. So our guest this evening is Dre Copeland, right?
Yep, Dre Copeland.
Dre Copeland. Dre. I met you at Crown Station.
That's right.
Yeah, doing comedy.
Yep.
Yeah, Brian, you've been there, right? Went out there? We had a good time going out there.
I had a great time.
Thank you. Did you see my show?
Nope. I wish I
The problem
did.
with black people, they never support each other. I swear to God, we're starting off already. I'm messing with you, bro. I'm sorry.
I go by Joey Bridges, Uncle Pete, Katie, Magic Fingers, Bucketlist Bryant, our DJ. Yeah. So this is 2 Cent Tuesdays. The beginning, our first segment, 2 Cent Tuesday. We just kind of just bullshit about what's on your mind. 2 cent. Give your 2 cents. Makes sense.
All right.
So what's been up with you, man? What do you? You're a comedian, right?
I am. Amateur, yeah.
All right. And we do open mics on Wednesday nights at the Crown Station, right?
Yep.
What is it? Non-consensual comedy?
So non-consensual is actually up the street at the Evening Muse on that Thursday night.
What's Mimi's on Wednesday?
Wait.
No, Mimi's is
you're
non-consensual.
right.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mimi. You're in New York. You're in here the same way. Okay.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Oh,
So a lot of people don't know there was like an NBC tryout recently for stand-up comedians here in Charlotte, and Mimi was one of like 8 people would go, and I was just like, damn, that's dope.
Yeah. Such a cool time to meet her in her life. Like I just met her doing open mics. I was like, I'm gonna go out there, like 100% committed to it. You know, so I'm gonna do this. And then I meet awesome people like you and everybody else. So our slogan is ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And something extraordinary is getting up on stage or putting yourself out there for people on a microphone or in a setting, in a forum, and wherever. So, how do you feel about open mics? How long have you been doing them?
Honestly, I've only been really doing them since November of last year.
Yeah.
And I love it.
It's fun, right?
It is, man, because it's like, it's just a chance to be heard. You know, I found a medium that I can do things and people are interested in what I can do, and it gives me an opportunity to spread my own messages. Yeah.
You can also say other things and like just telling jokes and stuff. I had said something the other day to somebody like, I said it to you the other day. I was like, it's so funny because it's real, and when it's not real, you're like,
Facts.
It's not funny. That's what makes it. Why do I get more of my news from comedians? Like the real shit anyway.
I think it was it George Carlin who said that? Like, if you really want to see what was actually going on at any point in time, listen to the comedians, because they're going to give you the absolute truth as they saw it.
I want to see if they have a comedy explained. You watch Netflix?
Periodically.
They had this show called Explained. They explain like the stock market, tattoos. When did comedy start? Like, was there like were there people in ancient Rome or Greece like telling? Yeah, of course, the gestures. Like, when
Of course,
yeah.
I mean, they got Chinese fart jokes that are like, they found tablets. No, I remember reading this. It was potty humor, right? And they found these tablets or something like that, and it had potty humor. And I'm just like, oh my God. So, like, people like this have been around forever. Wherever you have, there will always be people who have the desire or the ability to make others feel. All right? That could be that's a religion, whatever. comedians are also the same sort. I can make you feel, you know, and I can make you feel what I'm saying. I can make you feel what I want to feel because I'm a storyteller, right? So, but that type of person is just the medium. The medium for the comedian is laughter. I want to get your attention by making you let go of some things. So, I think that person had to been around since the dawn of time because we all laugh at something. That first time Grandma fell, and when you knew she was all right, you know, it was kind of funny. You know, like, okay, somebody had to be the first grandma. Sorry, Eve, but like at some point Eve had to be like, ah, my hip, like, oh, Grandma fell. But at some point in time, you know.
I'm just imagining like in like, you know, like the guys who used to sell the snake oils and stuff. Like there's like a guy out there just telling jokes like, "I the king." It's like
throwing stuff in his thing. I know Richard Pryor talks about that. Like when he was young, he's like, I didn't know like you were talking about the potty humor, the farts and stuff. Yeah. He's like up until that point, all I did was like take a shit. Like that was like the extent of my experience. But he knew like he was trying to make his family laugh.
Yes. You know, it's that exact thing. You know, it's funny you even say that. Because I will attribute, it's something I have to think about, but I'll attribute my tendency for comedy towards my mother, right? You know, my mom, a hardworking woman, and she was always worried. My mom, she worries about everything.
Shout out to all the moms.
Yes, like, seriously. But I know that I can go in and just tell my mom about my day, and she will die laughing. It is so funny to her. And I love to see her laugh like that because I know she's not thinking about that bullshit. So, like, I honestly test my best jokes that on my mother.
Me too.
You know?
That's my mom helped me formulate a joke last week about my son and YouTube. Yeah.
Yo, when you gonna perform that? You got it together?
I'm still trying to relate it to Americans that don't know more than one language but have a problem with immigrants.
Okay, that went a direction.
My son's gonna know 3 languages. He's gonna fucking know more than I do.
Facts.
And then I'm gonna say, just like most Americans, we only know one language, and we're upset that something else knows more than us. Like I want to make my son the enemy almost. Like, you motherfucker, like learning 3 languages and shit. Who you think you are? You're not gonna be out here.
Chris Rock. I remember he's like, I count too. 1, 2, 4, 5, bitch. Count these rocks, bitch.
That was Chris Rock. His new shit's pretty funny. Yeah.
What's it called? I forget what it's called.
I don't know. I know. I've seen it. Yeah. What did I have?
I know the latest one. I'll be honest. The funniest comedy I've seen recently, as far as the Netflix specials, is Amy Wong. If you get a chance.
Oh yeah. She's the one that when I'm pregnant.
Yes.
And then oh my god, me and my wife watched it. She's so funny.
I was sitting on my couch snorting. I was
like, she don't get any
what? I'll tell you a funny thing about me and comics. I never remember another comic set unless they have like a catchphrase, right? You know, but I remember how they made me feel. You know, and I'm the feeling with Amy Wong. I'm like, she is funny. She is funny. I could not quote one of her jokes other than I remember she pulled her skirt up once. But I know I was entertained. Well, look, she was pregnant. I've had some people's thing. That's not my thing. You know what I'm saying?
She was having fun.
Look, I ain't mad at her.
My grandfather passed away but he passed away when I was 17. I don't remember anything he ever said. But to tag along with what you're saying, like it's about how a person, like he made me feel as one of my biggest heroes, and it's not about what he said, but it's like a feeling that you give a person. So that's I can relate to that for sure.
Yeah, it's like, man, like again, I'm in my own head, you know, especially when it goes time for these shows. I have to pump myself up. I'm busy telling myself I'm the greatest. That's a different story. But
it's a great story.
It really is, man. It's very uplifting. It sounds arrogant, but I remember how people made me feel because I was thinking about myself, but you made me pause for a moment. You made me pause for a moment, stop thinking about myself. You said something that caught my attention, and that's how I take comedians.
Yeah. I feel like you're good if you like you getting my attention from, especially in a bar. Like there's a big problem with, and I was kind of getting irritated, not only with the people that were talking, but I'm irritated with the comedians though. Like saying something about it, I feel like it's only giving it more power. I think I like the way Perry handled it. He involved He's like, show of hands, let me get like crowd participation rather than, hey, shut the fuck up, I'm talking here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it sucks. I would say that too. I'm like, motherfuckers not back there talking, but you're in a bar, and like, to get their attention is what I'm saying is great. So be able to get their attention, even with assholes like that, just talking as loud as they can. They're trying to be louder than what's going on in the room, which is me up on stage. Like, that's weird.
Yo, for real. I'm up here because I want attention, okay?
Well, no, I'm up here because we got a thing to do. Like,
Yeah.
But if I can get your attention, that's even better.
Oh no, I demand your attention. It's Dre time. You know, if you want to talk while I'm talking, that's fine. But don't try to overtalk me. And I don't like to roast people, but I need you to be quiet. It's my turn. You know, shut up. So I'll address it. And sometimes you have to get rough, and sometimes you can be nice. But
Yeah.
I feel like that's the only comedy I know, because I grew up, like, whenever my cousins and I were get together, that's all we did, like, the whole time we were together was, like, roast each other. So I feel like if I went to, like, a stand-up, I would need, the room to be talking shit from the top.
okay, so be careful what room you're talking about. And let me clarify, I'm not a fan of roasting. It's just that we'll do it. I don't like to be malicious. I don't like to be mean. You know, I'll say something, probably be funny, get the whole crowd to laugh at you, but I don't believe in tearing people down.
Yeah, I'm not
What if
tearing,
you were invited to a roast?
I'm not tearing anybody down, but if you go and talk while I'm talking,
Yeah, I'm
it's
gonna
time to
address
go.
it. I'm totally gonna address it. I'm like, hey man, how you doing? Who'd you come to see? I will make sure to do the exact same thing that you
Yeah.
were doing to me,
Yeah.
because I'm sure you didn't come to see me, and this is not the type of place that you come to see no one. I got you, boo. I got
story,
you.
true story.
And I have never been kicked out, but I have been asked to leave. Verbally.
Oh, by the host? For addressing hecklers?
No, not for that. Again, I'm not gonna tear you down. I'll
Who
address
was,
it. But I used to be a bouncer back in the day, so.
I couldn't tell. I wouldn't have known that you had that kind of job.
Me, 41-year-old me would not have known that either. Like, ooh,
Yeah.
I saw some real stuff, bro. We good.
Have you had some
Like
cool
it?
jobs?
I love bouncing. It was like one of my favorite jobs. I like bouncing almost as much as I like bartending.
This is the thing about bouncing. It looks glorious. It looks like some just big bad dudes standing at the door, and that is the truth to an extent. But it's the most boring thing ever.
You feel like that?
Yes, and when
I
it's,
loved watching people.
Well, see, this is
Yeah.
the catch. So
I get caught.
yeah, I love to watch people too, periodically. Not every Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. Sometimes a show on Wednesday.
For me, like I got the experience, and then like these guys I'm watching spend a lot of money on getting drunk and getting girls drunk, and I was sleeping with just as many as they were, and I was just at the door like hanging out. Like I had all the benefits, but I was like getting paid to like hang out.
So this is the catch. What you just said speaks volumes about the different types of clubs that we worked at. Okay, well, the clubs that I worked at, getting that comfortable. Cause I was a stupid kid, but getting that comfortable could have cost me my life. And it's a good thing that
you're
I love
talking about-
Louisiana.
Like
Being shot at. I was a really naive kid. I went basically a preach kid, and I went to school in Louisiana, and my parents moved up to North Carolina. So, 18 years old, Louisiana, do what I want. The bouncers look big bad. I'm a big bad dude. I was a big kid. I went in there, man. There's a couple men I saw dude die. Like I did. It's almost like, wait, how many years ago was that? How long before you can incriminate yourself? No, I'm kidding. I did not do the shooting. But it was so surreal that I can't believe to this day that I watched a man take his last breath. I almost got shot. Didn't even know.
So you're telling me in real life that you didn't get any vagina because you were a bouncer? I really don't believe that. I understand the rest of what you're saying because it's not that different than my experience, but you did get some vagina specifically because you were a bouncer. Just be honest.
So, you say that as if you think I have game. I have none.
You got the voice.
I
I know
do.
that
You
much
got the
about it.
voice.
I do. So,
girls like to talk to me. He said.
I didn't think I would necessarily
They all
have
love
game.
to talk. They all listen to they love to listen to me talk. But I'm still a total nerd. You know what I'm saying? Whenever I get
I
laid, it's
buy
on
it.
accident. And for real, I'm not even joking. I'm like, what? You want to fuck me? What? You really? Could you sign this consent form? Because
In case it goes left.
yeah, don't know how. I mean, you are attractive, and I mean, so I'll tell you something about me. When it comes to my intelligence, I am the shit. Okay, I believe in me. However, when I think about my physical appearance, I'm like, you could do a few more things, you know. So
Personality is a huge thing.
it is,
Like,
but
that's certainly much. I want to hang out with somebody that I like clicked with and was cool to hang out with. And was a cool person. Like than like somebody that's like well put together, and that's what I'm looking for.
well, it's not that. Well, see, first of all, I'm shallow, so let's just be upfront. But no,
Are
that's
you
just,
picky?
I am picky as far as dating, but it's not necessarily about the physique as much as it is about the mentality.
Yeah.
So, like, I've had people ask me all the time, what type of woman do I like? And they're looking for physical characteristics, and I'm like, well, of course I want someone that cares for themselves, but I care more about their mentality. Can I sit and talk with her as I'm talking right now, and it not turn into a big fuss because she thinks I'm being argumentative, and I'm just, hey, this occurred to me. What do you think about it? That is a hard thing to find.
Is that being picky, or is that having standards?
So you're using two different words for the same thing.
Yo, I got standards. I'm not that picky, but I got standards.
That's what you're saying. So okay. You use standards to make yourself feel better about yourself, but you're probably
I feel good about myself. There's nothing that makes me feel bad.
well, I don't mean it like that, but you know what I'm saying.
I mean,
like,
I just got standards, kid.
so, hey, Brian, picky's not bad. It's just given a negative connotation. It's okay to be picky. You like what you like.
You can be picky with bad standards.
Yo, that's real.
Like, I had a buddy used to say, he's like, I'll take anything. I'm not picky. I got low standards. So it depends on, everybody's got different standards, I think. Like, standards aren't necessarily like an across the board, every human being should obey these standards. Because I think each person in different scenarios have different standards. Like, what are you willing to do at certain times? Other times, what are you going to take?
That's the thing I'm a lot of Jesus about, man. I like, that was not me, Jesus. That might have been my brother, but
I wasn't acting in my right mind.
you just
I was reading up on like what is that mind control stuff?
no.
That shit's crazy.
Man, I'm cynic. I'm a cynic. Can people be controlled? Yes, because people can be manipulated. But just pure out mind control, it's like, come on, man. Just like.
I went deep into that rabbit hole. I went into facial recognition and like what do you call them? Simulations and shit. Like,
I mean, of course, you
It was
can,
going crazy.
mind control within itself is feasible. Talk about it all the time in advertising, product placement, stuff like
Yeah.
that. But, it sounds like to me you're talking about on a deeper level, whereas I could actually force you to do, with immediacy and act. Like, snap. You're going to go rob a bank and drop money off somewhere.
or at any
and
given
overnight.
time, not just like if that's not when it happens, it happens.
I don't believe in that type of manipulation. I
Yeah.
don't. I think that long term people can be coerced. Abusive relationships, prime example of that.
You think you could control it, impact the atmosphere of a community though,
Yes.
based on like food and media and
Yes.
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But the individual still has something within themselves where they
Yes.
consciously
They can turn.
can
they can
become
react.
aware of that thing.
Yeah.
Right. You can't just completely turn off the ability to come to that awareness, right?
Yes, exactly. You
Me
can make
too.
things really inconvenient for people.
For sure.
But to see somebody say that mind control, you're a sucker. Yes, bad things happen. Again, abusive relationship. Not talking badly about it, but you see these women are convinced that these men love them, and I guess these men are showing a form of love. But love don't be a woman. But they are convinced that that is how he shows his love. That is a form of mind control. But I think that it is. God, I have to choose my words when I say this because I'm not okaying this act. But you see, what's that syndrome? That victim syndrome where.
Munchausen syndrome.
Is that what it is? That's what Munchausen is?
When you feel like you're sick all the time, come up with different diseases and all these.
That's
type of things.
hypochondriac.
Yeah.
That's
Munchausen, I
is
think,
the
is
syndrome
like
and
you
that's
like
like
someone
Stockholm.
to stay sick or you like someone to, so you're getting sympathy from it. You're getting
Oh, wow.
payoff.
There's always something wrong with
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
Right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, that's Munchausen.
Yeah, and I'm not okaying the behavior. God, I do not want this argument with some people. I'm just saying that it is a thing that
Have you?
exists. Huh? there's some people out there, you can't give a blunt statement without them attaching emotion to it.
Yeah.
You know, you just can't say things are, and they want to get all upset. Yeah.
Well,
Team
a
keep it
lot of
100.
people-
Huh?
Team keep it 100.
I think a lot of people
Facts.
they don't even know they get.
Facts, no?
A lot of people don't even know they get defensive. I think it's like so automatic for a human, period, like just to kind of want to defend themselves. But then when you say like, hey, you're getting defensive, you'd be like, no, I'm not. You're like literally getting defensive about not getting defensive.
Well, I mean, that's like saying don't look down. You know, of course, if you tell me you're getting defensive.
No, I'm not.
I'm not getting defensive. What if I defend myself? I'm getting defensive. So it's kind of like.
I definitely find that some people have like a neediness to the way that they interact with people and their energies, and they sometimes make themselves victim in order to generate that type of attention.
Yes. Right.
It's hard not to pay attention to a crying baby, and then adults just don't mature much past that as far as how they get attention.
Well, I mean, look at comedians. Look at comedians. They were a very prime example of exactly what you just said. You know, this is just our means to get that attention. It takes a special kind of person to get on stage to antagonize people, to laugh at them. You know, I want you to laugh at me. That's a special kind of person.
Right.
Speak blunt. I feel like I'm doing all the
with
talking.
you.
Who's
I
funny?
feel like most comedians are laughing with you. What you're saying is
Like,
creating
yeah, I'm
an experience
totally-
with us together.
Yeah, when you're
There are
talking, I'm
some,
like,
but I'm just
ooh.
saying, yeah. I think those are my favorites, where we're having an experience together and we're laughing together. Comedians who laugh at themselves when they're up on stage, like, are so funny that crack themselves up.
Oh, no.
Love it.
No, I'm with
Love
that
it.
too, but just I was looking at that objectively as far as that.
Yeah.
I'm all about that. I like to consider my own style of comedy as storytelling.
Yeah.
I'm telling a joke. I haven't told a joke on stage yet. I'm telling a story and you're just
Yeah.
laughing. Like
Yeah.
every joke I have told on stage has been absolutely factual.
That's what I'm saying. When somebody says something, I'm like, yo, I know exactly. That's so funny because like the
It's
story.
relatable.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
get it.
like it's human.
Yeah.
I can't wait to come see you.
Wait, what? No.
Next, we're doing Tuesday. What's Monday?
Monday is the evening muse.
I think I said I'm gonna come out there.
That's what's up. I'll be there. Well, I have to check my schedule because I'm hosting a night. I'm hosting a night at the Comedy Zone for the Comedy Zone class.
I haven't been there yet, but yeah.
It's a thing. You know, I support it. I took the class. I'm very supportive of it. But so I have to check them because I've been going there to kind of let them know who I am, so that hey,
Yeah.
we're really correlating when you come on stage. You know.
Can you do classes like people? What kind of things you learn in classes?
So the thing, I think taking the class cuts off about a year what you're gonna learn in the streets if you really hit the clubs. Just the nuances, how to grab the mic, you know, how to get to the funny. It's a big. Anybody who's taking that course, they'll tell you, you know, get to the funny, get to the funny. Just things that, yeah, you figure it out. You know.
I would imagine it's like 75% experiential, where they expect you to get up front and start to do your. Is it more like you're paying attention to somebody as a teacher, or you're interacting with? You know, let's practice this part of the
Both.
show. Both.
Very much so, both.
Yeah.
There's a classroom setting, but there's a stage there, and you know what I'm hosting is the graduation, and I thought it was useful, but you know I learned better that way. I like to know, hey, this is a pattern. This is a pattern
yeah.
of success. Now, if you can try this pattern, it should work. You might find a better pattern, but this is a proven pattern of success.
You can innovate on that pattern.
Yes, but
Nice.
you'll have some people be like, screw that. You know, it's stupid. It's a waste of money. Okay.
And
that's your
Mimi,
thing.
she didn't say anything about the classes, but she was an advocate. Anytime there's a chance to get a mic, just go. Like that sounded like her approach. Like if there's a mic, go get it, and then do it, and then you'll learn from. I would imagine like uncomfortability, like that joke didn't land, or I got a good response based on this. So the
Yes.
practice of it, I feel like when you're saying it cuts off a year, like I could see how both of those are,
Well,
are
let me
good advice
clarify
for
that. I didn't mean it in that form. So what I meant, so there is no experience like it from that mic. You cannot, no classroom will ever take away.
I didn't think
that
you were
fear.
discounting it, but it
Okay.
did sound like they went hand in like as you're jumping in front of every mic you can. You should look at what you can learn by being around other comics that have a format that works.
Yes.
Right.
So the class specifically is more about the nuances. You know, the how to get your ideas together, how to write down your ideas, stage presence, what to wear, how to be seen, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, there is no experience like stepping in front of the mic. Period.
I collected all. I feel like all my experience doing things that had nothing to do with comedy, like hosting events, being a DJ, doing rap, hip hop, open mics, showcases. I've never been afraid to get like even karaoke. My cousins remember me doing it. when I was
Tell
like
him
15.
something, yo!
That's awesome. Yeah, so it's definitely fun. Definitely fun.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, man. You know, it's just, I don't know. I like to make people laugh.
Anybody got any current event stuff you want to talk about? Tuesday said something about you wanted to say something about the tariffs. I was talking about wages. I mean,
Yeah, I just asked, do we all understand and know what it means that once these tariffs actually kick in, like what that means for us? Like, let's say there's a 20% tariff hike in goods from China. That means everything that you buy from China is going to have some sort of tariff on it, some sort of percentage on it. And let's say you're buying a TV that's coming from China or Asia somewhere, and there's a tariff on it. If you're buying like a $2,000 TV, a 20% hike or 25% hike on that, it's like the base of that's like $400 that it adds to everything, at that rate. And it's starting to, it's actually getting down to us. Once they actually kick it in, it's going to hit us. And a lot of the stuff, like, what people don't understand is, I work on cars, so I can speak on that. Some of the parts are coming from China. Some of the parts that aren't even made here in the United States. And they're not giving us an option by enforcing these tariffs on Europe, enforcing these tariffs on Asia, and the United States can't even make that. I mean, you're going to pay more for that can of beer that you got in your hand when these tariffs kick in, being that we don't make a lot of aluminum here in the United States.
I'm worried about food and farmers farmers needing assistance and more of those things than TVs and shit. But yeah, I mean, it's not a good thing. I mean, we should be buying American-made products anyway. But I think it'll just force us to do more of that too. Kind of.
I don't think so. We don't have the infrastructure. We're not
Yeah,
investing in that infrastructure.
Yeah, we don't have steel. We don't have.
One of the biggest steel mills, like when I grew up, like Cleveland was a big steel mill city. And when I grew up there, like there was LTD steel and stuff like that. That shit's been shut down and made into a shopping center.
There's still, I agree with what you're saying, but what I would tell you is there's still American steel companies that exist, and the ability for them to grow and produce jobs for Americans is a real thing. I think that the cost of things initially are going to go up a little bit, but it's going to cause all these imported products are still going to want to sell products in the United States. So what they're going to have to do is adjust their margins in order to still do that in the United States, which gives us a chance to create jobs and catch up. Now, that's just what I think the potential is. But anytime that there's a margin and I incorporate the involvement of the government or corporations, I expect that they're going to exploit those to their benefit and not the American people. So I'm not going to necessarily say that I believe it's going to be an awesome thing, but I do believe that it could be a good thing. That's all I'm going to say about that.
I think to go in the direction that people are scared of. Well, we don't have this. We don't have. Let's fucking start doing it again. And with that would come more union type work, where we'd be in control of the wages and things, and that's job creation. So I don't know. It's a bad thing, but I'm just concerned about when I heard about farmers and stuff now needing assistance because they have to worry about from now until a good deal is made before they're able to get that's not a good thing. But I think they'll figure it out.
I'll be honest with you. I haven't shown a great deal of interest in this because my whole ideology on that, if it's going to break, it's going to break. If you keep saving failing institutions, are you really saving society as a whole? These things, if they fail, it's because they needed to be revamped. And will there be misery involved in it? Yes, it will be miserable. But how else for me to succeed. I don't want it. I'm not going to tell you that I want this. I'm saying that if something is not a good business model, it should fail. Period.
It could be redone as it goes. Like you could build something and then see a part's not working and then replace that part and then keep going from there. Like
But
I don't know.
That's innovation. That's what should happen. If you are innovating as a company and you're innovating in the right direction, you will not fail. But if you're innovating in the wrong direction, people shouldn't continue to sustain failing infrastructure.
Now we should just be careful, like you said, like where that money goes and how they manipulate things for their favor rather than the favor of our
It's
interests.
just expected it to me at this point.
I
The American Revolution was over like 3.5% tax. I think it's
Oh, yeah.
it's upwards of like 25 to 30% now. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like you said, if it breaks and it's for the greater good, like let's hurry up and have it get broken.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But again, there's gonna be that doesn't come with no cost association. I feel like we went real deep on two.
On
like,
2 cents.
we could just
My
go ahead
bad.
and shift. Yeah.
My
No, I
bad.
respect it. He started it. I don't like doing politics. I really don't like doing politics.
I mean, it's not really. I mean, it's what's happening now.
No, it's worth talking about. I'm not knocking for that.
I
I'm
like the
just saying
direction we go. We all like kind of like it's not a politics argument. It's a conversation, which is
Yeah.
what
Yes.
needs to be done more than just everybody. Everybody says I don't like politics and I don't like that because everybody makes it an argument.
Yes.
That's why you don't like it. If we made it about just, oh yeah, I see that. Yeah, that makes sense. And you got a mind for that. Like, why would you not think that's a, you know what I mean? And then, yeah, you have a right to.
Well, I feel like it's
where you're
designed
coming
for division in the first place. So
Yeah.
like, I'm not gonna go to a strip club and not expect to see naked women. You know what I'm saying? So I don't involve myself in politics based on the fact that I know that it's designed for that. It's
Do you think
designed for division.
Do you think it's necessary? Like, how far should we should have a government? I mean, like, if tribes are made of 60
I
people.
want to switch into eulogy.
Yeah, I want to get into
Definitely
that though. Like, yeah. So the next segment, if we might break into the next segment, it's called eulogy.
Okay.
All right. So eulogy is YOULOGY. It's spelled that way because it's all about you.
Oh,
So
man.
8:30. This is eulogy. This is Pete's
That's
segment
way too
here.
early. That song.
Yeah,
That's not where that goes.
We'll do a study.
When you said that, all I thought was METHODOFLOV.
You're really on the
Oh,
you're on the
see?
Wu-Tang Clan
Yeah,
wave right
yeah.
now.
No, I actually went away from
No,
Wu-Tang
he
Clan.
went into
METHODOFLOV. Anybody? Nobody.
Yeah, I know.
I was with you on the Method Man part. Then
No.
you started going somewhere else. No, I'm
No,
not.
he went to the.
Was it Hall? Was that Hall Notes? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's a whole nother. I was singing Method Man. He was singing.
Well, because Eulogy
Method
went
of
so
Love.
long, you know what I mean? Yes, I was singing Method
Why
of Love, but
you
you know, Eulogy went long.
Why?
Yeah. Okay, never mind.
Eulogy is brought to you by Lamppost Publishing. Lamppost Pete, right here. Let's get it.
It's one of the nicknames. So my first question is, how did you get into comedy, and how did you kind of know that was your thing? Like, how did you know that this is what your passion was and what you were really up to? Like,
Do some chill.
So,
My bad.
nah, it's all good. So, with that, I feel like you set me up with that music.
Which one? This one?
Yeah, it was like,
we adjusted.
I
You
became
know?
a comedy, you know, it was I was sitting there chilling with my friends.
We might have
There's
to.
that voice.
No.
We would be hard pressed to find music you don't sound good on. I gotta be honest.
Stop, you just say that because it's true. So, how I got into comedy. So, making jokes has always been a defense mechanism to me. I'm a big guy now, but I haven't always been a big guy. I'm tall and skinny, and I'm actually averse to violence. I just don't care for it, even as an adult. Last year, for my friend's birthday, his girlfriend paid for him to take the class to the Comedy Zone. And he's like, well, hey, you want to go? I'm like, I ain't doing anything. All right. And I did it, and I like the feeling. So, and it's my passion right now. You know,
I feel that.
yeah, it's just, this is what I'm feeling strong about right now. I like the effect that I'm having on the community. I like the way it makes me feel. It always gives me a reason to be happy, because in order to be a comedian, I have to think about things that will make people happy. So I like it.
What I want to ask you.
I got more for that.
Okay. to it again?
No, that's
Okay.
awesome. Yeah.
All right.
You got some? I got some. I'm ready. Like,
Go ahead.
you had mentioned earlier about the classes, right? Do you stay in like a constant? We did a training this weekend where we got an opportunity to coach some folks. Do you feel like it's important? Like, how important do you feel like, if at all, do you think it is to stay in the mindset of a student? Like, obviously you're in your craft, like, and you say, what was it? You're the greatest, right?
Well, yeah.
Part of being the greatest, I would imagine, is being open to learning all the time. But in your field, like, how do you find that equates, if it does at all?
As far as staying a student,
Yeah, like a student of the game, right? Like,
well, I mean, it's a necessary evil. Things are constantly changing. You know, like we were talking about earlier about you know, comedians being the actual voice of what happened at that time. You know, if I'm still telling jokes, well, I was gonna say the Cosby joke, but that's hot right now. If I was still telling jokes about, I don't know, when MTV first came out, half these kids don't know what MTV is anymore. It has to stay relevant. You have to stay hot. You have to stay into knowing what's going on. I hope I'm answering your question.
I get value out of the answers that you give, as long as, you know, they're genuine to you. Like, that's all I'm asking for.
It
For
is
sure.
how I feel at this moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Real quick to add on that, when people talk about like music and artists, I follow all of it. So when people say, "Oh, I don't listen to that new stuff," I'm like, "Oh, I mean,
How are you gonna know? So we're all different. There's what's popular and there's what you enjoy. You know, there's what's popular and there's what you enjoy. Like, you know, I enjoy popular music, but I found some deep cuts on some albums that I'm like, no one else is feeling this, but I'm like, man, this is just a thing right here, and it's my thing to sit and listen to. So how do you learn new things unless you go into those deep cuts? You know, if you want to stay on the surface, that's fine. But you know,
did you see yourself doing comedy when you were younger? I mean, I remember watching Comedy Central and being so interested. I mean, did you have similar?
No, I have never ever known what I wanted to be. I could not be more serious in saying that this is what I'm doing right now. This is what I'm effective. I'm enjoying what I do right now. I played guitar for a while. You know, I took up Muay Thai for a while. I'm always doing different things because I want to know things, want to experience things. Right now, I think that I can take this to another level, and I feel a strategy to it. And my curiosity is kicking in and saying, okay, well, if you think this pattern that you're imagining could be successful, let's implement it and see what happens. You know, and I'm like, well, I think I have a strategy to success. I'm more curious about the outcome than I am about what I'm doing, to be honest. Like, well, one day you'll be talking about Dre Copeland, you know, or how we mentioned Dre Copeland down the road. Well, you know, I feel strongly, I'm gonna humble myself, that I could be hot on a local ticket. But can I do more than that? I'll give an example. James R. Hustle. Give James Hustle a shout out. This man is going all up and down the East Coast. You know what I'm saying? I want to be on that hustle level. I want to be on Don Garrett's level. I'm not saying these things out of jealousy. You know, I'm not saying these things. I'm hating on them because I'm seeing it because I'm like, man,
You see it's possible.
Yes. And they're local comedians and they're doing their thing. They're Brian Davis. You know, Coco Fresh. You know, out there doing her thing. You know, can I do that? They're doing it, and if they come from the same area, we got something in common. I just want to see. There might come a time where I'm like, man, I ain't feeling this.
So you draw inspiration all of the time from people who are in your field.
Yes. You know, and again, it's possible. You know, it's possible. The question is it possible for me? Can I do this?
Yeah, that kind of, I got a two-part question. You said you believe strongly in the fact that this is what you're doing right now.
Right.
And if this isn't the case, please tell me. But does that lend itself to like the feeling of being free? Like, I want to be free to play the guitar at one time. I want to be free to do comedy if that's what I want to do. Right? Is that
Yes.
true? The second part of the question would be like, how do you decide whether or not you're going to get serious about that craft, like, and take it like to where, like, for me, like, once I move from a space where it's something that's like I get to do it if I want to do it, to a place where I'm approaching it like it's a business, there's a line where I feel like sometimes things get, you know, when you're starting to take something serious, it demands particular energy, right?
Right. Right.
So like, are you comfortable? Like, how do you get yourself comfortable with the idea where, like, I'm doing it for fun and I'm doing it because I think you mentioned like the main motivating factor is to make people happy, right? But how do you move into a space where like, no, I'm trying to get paid too, like?
Well, I mean, everybody's trying to get paid. Off that, you know, whatever we do, we want to be able to enjoy it, and money helps us enjoy things. Within this all goes back to what I'm saying. To me, I have a loosely written long-term strategy. I expect to reach certain levels at certain times. If within a certain time I have not reached that level, then I have to take into consideration how much effort is this worth for me to continue. If this becomes draining, then it's no longer fun. When it's no longer fun, then the experiment is over. Because I'm just doing this because I'm curious.
Even if you're making some kind of money, if it becomes like a thing you feel like you have to do, then you're not interested in it.
Because you know, I draw a lot of my inspiration. Well, I draw all of my inspiration from my life, and it's things. It's funny for me. It's things that aggravate me a little, but I can laugh about it. When it goes from me being aggravated and I can laugh about it to me being aggravated and I'm just like.
When it becomes hard to tell a joke about it.
Yes, when I'm starting to get irritated, you know, when it becomes, my friends are gonna laugh at me, but if they listen to this, it's when things become inconvenient for me. Like, you know, it's like I don't want to be inconvenienced. When it's not fun anymore, it's inconvenient.
And it might be the same thing. Something that wasn't an inconvenience 6 months ago may feel like an inconvenience based on the fact it's run its course and it's time to do something different.
We've all seen Chad Boseman. All right.
No, what was that?
Black Panther.
Oh, okay.
But you saw when he first came out, he was like, Wakanda forever, you know, and then you see the pictures of him now, and it's like, oh God, this again, you know.
I gotta keep doing it.
Yeah, so I don't, you know, God bless him, he's doing great, can't wait to see the next movie. But when I don't want that feeling. I don't want to be like, God, I've got to do this.
You're locked in a space.
Yes, I want to do what I want to do, you know, and I know I have to make money, so I keep a job. But this is entertainment for me, just like the Muay Thai was, just like the guitar was, just like you know, doing comedy right now. This is entertainment.
Have you seen that be the death of other entertainers? That they have like a thing they're known for, and then they're like, wait, like there's like way more that I could do, and then you know me for this one thing.
Some people took that opportunity to become a character of themselves and to project. But Larry the Cable Guy is very, very wealthy off of playing a character.
For sure.
Okay. And I'm sure that sometimes he gets off that stage and he's like, my God, if I have to do that character one more time. You know, it's
Just enough, yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
I swear to God, I would kill myself. You know, like, when he has to stop being that character. You know, but that was a sacrifice he was willing to make. I don't think I can make that sacrifice. I always want to be me. You know, because I don't want to be locked in to, hey, Andre, hey, Dre, tell that
I'm
joke.
the guy that does this, and
Yes.
people are just waiting for me to do that one thing.
Yes, I want you to be like, what is he going to do next?
And you're drinking like scotch and hating your life in the fucking breaks.
Yo,
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about. I want you, the moment, I just want you to wonder, yes, I want you to want to hear that joke, but you're like, hey, I know he's about to say some real stuff too, and he's coming with some real stuff. That's what I want. I want you to love me for what I'm doing, but always want me to see what I'm doing next, because that makes me want to achieve more.
As an artist, do you evaluate your impact on your community? Like, do you look for your message, or is it really like the content is whatever I feel like is going to make people laugh? Like when I watch some Chappelle stuff, like there's some underlying like.
So I'm going to contradict myself a little bit. In that context, I actually do not care about what people think. These are the things that I'm saying. This is what's on my mind, you know. And I just have the ability to say it in the context when you think it's hilarious. I've had a joke where I could be like, hey man, the kitchen's on fire, we should probably leave, you know? And
That's the punchline.
yeah, that's the punchline, but I'm actually telling you that the kitchen's on fire, we should probably leave, and you think I'm bullshitting because I'm not panicking and stuff. We should probably go. Like, yeah, but I get on the stage for me. I get on stage because it makes me feel good. I'm inspired by the inspired, you know. And I know if I make you laugh, you're inspired, and that's more inspiring to me, and it makes me want to reach greater heights. But it is about me when I get on that stage. It's like I have to keep good people in my corner because I get full of myself when I'm on stage. You know, like man, I am the greatest, and like my friend of mine, Big E. You know, he's one of my close compatriots, and I had to have him be like, ugh, Dre, no, that was not good.
He gives you honest and direct feedback.
Yes. And that's what I need. But sincerely, I got on that stage.
You feel like the shit.
Yeah.
You come off that way too. Not like you're over cocky though. I feel like it helps you in your performance.
So my feelings on this, I always say it's funny because like around my nieces and nephews, and honestly anybody who listens to me, I'll say that I'm the greatest. Around my nieces and nephews, Uncle Dre is the greatest. Uncle Dre is the greatest, right? And what I'm trying to tell those kids is
You can be the greatest.
no, I'm trying to tell them I love me, and I tell and like I had a so I tell them all the time, I am the greatest Uncle Dre that you will ever know. You are the greatest Autumn that I will ever know. You are the greatest Aaron that I will ever know. Because my niece asked me, Uncle Dre, can I be great too? Of course you are. You're the greatest Autumn I have ever met. And that's what I want to teach them. I want to teach them to love themselves and to teach them, hey, you're great. You're great. I'm not saying that you're not. I'm saying that I am.
Everybody deserves to be there.
Yes. And I get told that I'm being arrogant all the time because sometimes I can't get that message across. That what I'm saying is, of course, I think I'm great. Don't you?
Does part of your confidence, like, about being the greatest stem from the fact that you know you're open and willing to get feedback from your friends that kind of let you know when you're going too far with your shit?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
you rely on relationships to let them see the spots you're not looking at.
yes, but those are real friends, people who are really on my team.
That's
There
right.
will always be haters out there. I believe in constructive criticism. If this dress makes me look fat, please tell me so. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you don't have to embarrass me. You know, just hey, like, man, you might want to.
Yeah, like where's your come from? Like, why are you saying that to me? Is it to make me feel like less, or you're coaching to my greatness? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
And I feel that strongly, and I try my best to be that way to other people. You know, I'm gonna give you the truth, but I'm not gonna be an ass about it.
For sure. It's for the person's benefit.
Yes.
Right.
And some people don't like that. It's the honest truth. But if you don't want my opinion, don't ask for it.
Right.
And sometimes I gotta give it anyway. So whatever.
Facts. You got a question? Ryan, you got a question? You got a question?
Yeah, you know what? No, I really feel that. Like being on stage is so non-restricting, it's so free. Like, and you definitely display that confidence when you're up there, and I think it's good to care. Like, I think you could be great because I'm great.
Yes.
I feel that.
I think you're great. You're the greatest Joe I've ever met. You know
I like that, but I wonder how people do sometimes when they're like, you're the greatest. Like, don't get me wrong. I think telling your dad he's the greatest ever is awesome. Like, you're the greatest dad in the world. Well, there's a lot of dads in the world. Like, I'm just like kind of being funny about it, but that's saying it without saying everybody else's shit. You're the greatest one. Well, I'm a dad too. Well, I mean, it's mine. I guess my greatest, my dad.
Exactly.
You know what TED Talks are?
Yes.
If you were invited to do a TED Talk, like, what do you feel like you would want to cover?
It doesn't matter to me. I'm okay with being candid about my opinions. I actually tend to be fairly neutral about things because I believe you have the right to do what you want to do. You know, there are things I don't agree with, and because I don't agree with them, I don't do them. But if that's what you want to do, as long as it's not literally hurting someone, my bad. But as long as it's not actually hurting someone, go for it.
So, if you were invited to like speak and inspire like a group of like an audience, like you do with your thing, but more like in a
Subject matter,
right
setting.
You would emphasize on being yourself.
That's a double-edged sword there, because you can't always be yourself. But I'm not saying be yourself, because sometimes we have to hide ourselves just to survive. I'm saying love yourself.
Love yourself.
Yes.
about like a group of upcoming comedians, kids? Like, you know, we got Jordan on coming on the show, and what would you say to him? Like,
There's nothing I can tell you. You know what I mean?
he's
Like,
already doing his thing.
well, no, Jordan's good.
Yeah.
I'll give him props. You know, he's good. I can only tell him things as an older man. I think he's actually been doing this longer than me. You know, like like he's literally older. Me and his dad, I've met his dad. His dad, really nice guy. Literally could have went to school together. You know, and he doesn't need another dad. You know, like what can I tell this young man? You've been doing this longer than me. You've got a great father and supporter. All I can tell him is, hey man, I like what you're doing.
Yeah, I was so impressed. I guess was like, yeah, I love it. Got any questions?
You?
No.
Touch on how you hide yourself to survive. That was a unique line.
So, I'm going to give this from my perspective. And from my perspective, I just so happen to be a black man. Alright? I just so happen to be a large black man. And there is a certain level, how to say, there are preconceived notions at times of the type of person that I am.
Just because of that.
Just because of it. And that's just a piece of it. That's not the whole of it. But, like, you know, I'm ADHD. Terrible. I need a job. Alright? Now, jobs don't care if you want to figure out who you are. But that's what ADHD people are. You know? ADHD people are always on to the next thing. Dreamers, imaginers, and stuff like that. But I still need a job. So when I go to work, I might have to take that Vyvanse or I'm, you know, drink that cup of coffee so I can kind of
Chill out.
yes.
Coffee makes you chill out.
It's ironic, but that's exactly how it works.
I feel you.
They give you
It brings balance to you.
Yes. Because, like, you know, normally my day to day feels like people aren't moving fast enough. You know, and it's this weird kind of, all right, well, let's go knock it out kind of thing. You know, instead of being like, there's so much happening at the same time. I actually enjoy being ADHD because it's this amazing. I don't want to say sensory overload because it's like I can't process it, but it's like being ADHD to me is like boundless enthusiasm and being able to take in so many things at once. You know, like I take everything into consideration: the sound, the sight, the smell. It's weird, but your memories are associated to it. So I love it. I enjoy it. But job doesn't care that I'm trying to find myself.
No. But some jobs now are embracing different ways of socializing.
They
So-
are. I do not have the education for those jobs.
No, fun ones. I just started one recently, but we're gonna have to go together and hang out.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So, let me ask you. Do you see yourself doing? What's your next thing? What do you see? What are you getting like? Almost getting passionate about? Like you into comic books? Like I see you got a Flash shirt on.
No, that was one of those things I did. I've got
Image, DC, or Marvel?
Marvel. Image for a little bit, but you know, they went defunct. I've just always liked the Marvel characters. Ironically, my three favorite characters in films this year: Deadpool, the Juggernaut, and Venom. And those are the anti-heroes have always been my favorite characters. It's ironic because I've always wanted to be, and I know my friends are going to eat me up about this.
You got somebody on here actually.
Yo. So my friends know I've always wanted to be immortal. And those characters, I don't want to die, who really does? But those characters all exhibit forms of immortality.
Move the mic up a little bit.
No, my bad.
There you go.
But those characters all exhibit forms of
Move the arm up a little. There you go. Yeah.
Here we go. Right here?
No, move the arm this way.
The arm.
So this way it'll stay.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You can get more comfortable. Sorry, I don't want you to feel uncomfortable.
No, it's good.
Yeah.
Donald Trump.
Like this, Joe.
Oh,
That's how you want it, Joe.
I don't know. You feel uncomfortable with that. I don't see that. It's a microphone to me.
It's two questions I want to make sure I sneak in before we move on to the next segment, right?
All right.
If you were, again, this is 5 keys to personal success. So, if you were to say, like, for yourself, how you kind of blazed your own trail and kind of led the life that you want, what keys to that success do you feel like?
So to say success is
That's why I say personal, because it's different per person, right? Like,
well, it is because I don't feel like I've succeeded, but I don't feel like I've failed. You know, I just am. I exist. I get up every day. I know that there's a level of expectation that I have for myself, because I want to experience a level of comfort. So, you know, I've never been to jail. Some people consider that a success. I don't think you should go to jail. I don't consider that a success. You know what I mean? I don't have kids everywhere. Some people consider that a success. I don't think you should have kids everywhere. I know people do. I'm not knocking them. I'm talking about Dre. So, you know, you say these things, you know, it's like, I just did what I thought you were supposed to do.
Sure.
So some people would consider me a success, but I don't consider myself a failure. I just did what I thought was the right thing.
So in your pursuit of trying whatever you're passionate about, like
Yeah,
be passionate.
your general approach. Like, what would, if you don't want to call it success, which
I do what I want.
do what you want.
I do what I want.
Love it.
Do what drives you.
Yeah, I do what I want. As long as it's not interfering with you and yours, I'm gonna do what I want.
What inspires you? Like, what drives you to do what you want?
Inspired people.
Be inspired.
Like I'm inspired by the inspired. You know, why are you passionate about your thing? Like you were, when you told me about this, you're like, hey man, I got the show. You want to check this out? Want you to be a guest? I'm like, fuck yeah. You know,
Your passion was like, yeah, it's great. Yeah. We're like back and forth.
Yeah, that's because I feel that way. I feel myself an energy person, and when you meet another energetic person, I want to know why. Why
If
do
I
you
wasn't
feel
like that, would you have denied it?
So
Would there have been like, I'm not really feeling you feeling
it's
your
not
shit?
about you being that way, because there's some people who are more calm than I'll say you or I, but they are still just as passionate. But you spoke as if you believed in your thing, you know? And that's what, and I believe that belief is the first step, you know? Okay, this
Believe
man
in what you
believes
do.
in what he's doing. Yeah, okay.
I got 3. I got freedom and do what you want. Know why you're passionate about a thing, and believe in yourself.
Yes.
Love yourself.
You could cut
Love
it out.
yourself.
You could love yourself. So that's 4. We can cut it there if that's where you want to cut it.
I think we get one more. What else? Don't be scared of getting on stage, or don't be scared of being confident. And
Yes.
some people are scared of displaying confidence.
And
Yeah, being the greatest might be the confidence might be a key. If we're listening right, and Joe I think hit the nail on the head. I would certainly say that confidence is one of the keys. That
yes, and that every comic is different. Some comics say if you're anxious on stage, you know, but even that, you know, they're really, really funny.
Yeah.
I give a shout out to my homeboy Brandon Stevens. He on stage looks anxious as all get out.
But that it makes it funny.
Funny.
Right.
And when he's anxious,
And that's part
about
of being yourself and loving yourself, right?
Yes, but God, when he's anxious about it, he gets so much funnier. And
He has to be more like in order to feel comfortable. He's got to turn it up.
He don't even know it, man. He is so funny, but like, I digress. But
Yeah, like
So-
your character and being confident, that's the same way as his character and being
Yes.
anxious.
You
Like,
know?
it's just, that's his thing.
I believe in what I'm saying. I believe you should listen. You know, you know.
And
Yeah. Hey, give me a moment. I'm gonna tell you something. You can be like, oh my God, that's the dopest shit I've heard today. You know, that's how I feel about myself.
I love
Last question before we go to break.
All right.
It's the deepest one of all the questions. You ever read 7 Habits of Highly Effective People written by Stephen Covey? There's an exercise in this book, and what they want you to do is envision that you're at a funeral.
All right.
You're in the line, you get up to the casket, and you recognize that the funeral you're at is actually your own.
All right.
So now we're going to give the eulogy, right?
All right.
And everybody who you're connected to, your loved ones, get an opportunity to speak about you. What are some of the ways that you'd want to be recognized and hope that people remembered you? The legacy that you left so that you could be a mortal like a superhero.
My deepest desire is to be a loving, kind person. And I want to be recognized for that. And, you know, I have a lot of pride, so sometimes that makes me struggle. It's something I work on a great deal. But you know, first I don't want an old sad funeral. I know everybody says that, but yo, I'm not a sad person. Don't remember that way. First of all, you got me sitting in a box. I'm mad at you. It's a waste of money. For real, like legit. You know,
There's other things we can spend money
yo,
on.
for real, you know, and yeah, of course I want to be remembered, but I want you to celebrate my life. I don't want you to sit there and mourn me. Like things happen. I'm not the first to die. I won't be the last. You know, remember me fondly. I really want that. I want to, my place in history as long as people can hold on to it. But, yo, party, have a good time. Remember me for what I was, and I want to be, you know, a funny person who really wanted to believe in people and wanted to be a good person.
Nice.
So let me make sure we covered it. Loving and kind person.
It's like you're building a dossier.
I don't even know what that is. That's a
Infidels
strong word.
are coming to America, and we shall kill.
I didn't get it.
Your voice in that, like, with that accent was still like really good. I just want you didn't lose anything in that. I just want to let you know. All right, so loving, kind person. You were funny. You were celebratory. You wanted people to be happy. You wanted to inspire people to have a good time, and that you believed in people
Yes.
and their greatness.
And the fact that I love myself. So I don't like yes, I believe in my greatness, but my greatness is my love for myself, and I feel that you should feel the same way. By just leaving it at I believe in my greatness, it sounds like I'm being arrogant.
Right.
You know, but I just want to clear up.
You hope that you inspired greatness in others.
Yes.
Gotcha. All right, so we're gonna take a 15-minute break. We're gonna come back to Joe's favorite segment, which is It Takes a Village quiz show. You'll get an opportunity to work with Joe and Katie and Brian. They can help you answer the questions. So if you need to poop or have a cigarette or do whatever you gotta do, we got about 15 minutes.
Yeah,
We'll be
It
back.
Takes a Village quiz show sponsored by Fidgets McGee. We are brought to you by Think Free Revolution and The Conversation, Lamppost Publishing. Dre Copeland in the house. We'll be back in just a little bit.